Welcome to 60 Second Civics, the daily podcast of the Center for Civic Education. I am Donna Phillips. Today we continue our series on citizenship in America as part of our Civil Discourse and American Legacy project. We are joined again by special guest, Professor Henry L. Chambers, Jr. of University of Richmond School of Law. Welcome back, Professor Chambers.
Good to see you today, Donna.
Thanks. Professor Chambers, what types of rights are associated with citizenship?
That's a great question. Part of the notion of citizenship is that you're a member of society, which also means that there's some folks who are going to be excluded from society. So what are the kinds of rights that we expect the insiders in society to exercise? Well, one of them tends to be voting, but that's tricky. Today, we think of voting as a citizenship right, but historically, it hasn't necessarily been a citizenship right. So think, for example, of women who were always citizens of the United States, but weren't always allowed to vote. By the same token, you had non-citizens who were allowed to vote for years. So in many ways, when we think of the rights that are sort of categorically citizenship rights, like voting, we think, are they really citizenship rights, or are they rights that typically are given to citizens? That's one. A second one is things like jury duty. With jury duty, the notion is that the jury is going to be the public's representative in the criminal justice system. So not surprisingly, you think of those folks who have a real stake in society, the citizens of society, as being the folks who will serve on juries. So that's another one that would be considered a right, or maybe in some respects an obligation. Trying to think about those things that are rights that citizens need to engage in are the kinds of things that we're thinking about when we think about citizenship rights.
Thank you so much for joining us today, Professor Chambers. That is all for today's podcast, 60 Second Civics, where civic education only takes a minute.